beyond borders, because AI education is a very important issue, as AI has impact on all education levels. This is the 5th edition of the AIDA AI Mellontology Symposium series. It was a very well-attended series with very interesting events, and I hope that today we're going to have very fruitful discussions for the entire day. How can I go page down?
Should work.
Okay. AIDA is a memorandum of understanding between 78 members, 59 top AI universities in Europe, valued centers and companies as well. And it's a joint venture of all European Union AI flagship projects, so the ICT 48 ones, 5 of them. And then there's going to be a continuation with new AI flagship networks of excellence that start running. We have a very good number of lecturers, students. We offer courses that are very well attended, as well as AIDA lectures, excellent ones. And my message is get involved. So if you are interested in AI education, please do contact us and offer your ideas and initiatives in anything that's related to AI education. And now we start the regular program of this symposium. The first panel is organized by Professor Efstratios Gavves. So Strati, could you come here for a moment, please?
Πού είναι το full screen? Ίσως το PDF. Το PDF δεν θες το PDF. Κοίταξε, νομίζω ότι αν το κάνουμε απλά έτσι, είμαστε ok. Μην το δω. Όχι, νομίζω είμαστε καλά έτσι. Το σημαίνει αυτό. Όχι. Ας το κάνουμε έτσι. Και άλλα δεν έχουμε τα βελάκια.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining the first session of the day. Today I would like to talk about AI and education in the university and taxonomies. And I will have very few slides before I give the floor to Professor Evangelos, Kanoulas and Vincenzo, Lomonaco from the University of Amsterdam and Pisa, respectively. I would like to start with saying that we live in really life-changing times in a foundation era where AI has actually started working in a way that was definitely unprecedented or unexpected. When I started my PhD in 2008, I would say that, well, AI was actually a matter of science fiction, and nowadays this actually happens. Quite a few people are shocked. I don't know what is everyone's take on it, but it certainly will change how we see things. Models like Segment Anything, Sora, Claude, ChatGPT, of course, Gemini, and so forth are really changing the way that we understand how AI works. But in my opinion, the most impactful to date technology is Devon, which was open, like open world or open-ended, full automatic software generation. I'm not sure if it works as well as advertised. However, I do know that huge labs, like huge companies, and really there are frontier labs in Meta, in Google, and so forth, work on the very same problem. So this will happen one way or the other, whether it's going to be in 6 months or 1 or 2 years from now. So in my opinion, a very important question is, why not just switch off AI? I mean, why do actually we want to do AI in the first place? If I keep hearing more and more risks than anything else. I think it's a very reasonable question, a very fair question. I was talking yesterday with Evangelos and Mark about that. Well, I think at the end of the day, data is a new resource. The way that humanity discovered oil or natural gas a couple of centuries ago, data is literally a new resource. That's how also like geopolitics see it. Especially if we put compute in the mix. NVIDIA is now the most valuable company worldwide, surpassing even Apple. So data is a new oil, and AI is the drill, how we can actually make sense of the new resource, of the raw resource. And in the end, who ignores AI will eventually be ignored, quite likely. And I was searching for it. That's not even the first time that this happens. There is a concept in economics, it's called the Great Divergence. It was a socioeconomic shift in which the Western world, in fact, got a huge lead compared to the rest of the globe, especially because of early adoption of scientific and technological advances. Whoever is going to ignore AI now can actually be now in the bottom line rather than the upward. What we care here about is education. I'm actually quite passionate about it. I started also as a program director of the Bachelor of AI at the University of Amsterdam. I'm passionate about it because I think it's like a pillar to society, the future of society. Like by educating new people, young people, we have a way to improve basically how our future societies will be. And I fundamentally believe in AI. I'm a core AI person. I did AI when most, like my family didn't even understand what's that. I do believe in all the good that it can offer. But this doesn't mean that it comes for free. There is impact. There will be impact of AI on education, and there will be an impact of education and on AI, whether we like it or not. There are fundamental questions that have to be addressed. How to best educate the AI scientists? Are we doing this good enough now? I don't think so, necessarily. At least as far as I can tell, we don't really teach them very deeply to think about ethical questions or philosophical questions or legal questions, and this will be very important in the coming years. Perhaps even more important, how can we best prepare other non-AI scientists to understand what AI is and how to use it? AI and science is perhaps the fastest growing sector in the AI field. Are they ready for AI? I'm not sure. Further, is AI even bringing a new paradigm of learning to learn? So according to the International Commission of Education, there are like these 4 pillars. Maybe there's time to put a 5th one. Ethics, collaboration, innovation, all these are very important concepts. At the same time, mistrust in science, misinformation, is clearly a problem. So together, we're going to discuss today, this hour, with a very interesting lineup of speakers. I had a preview of Evangelos, and I'm really curious to hear what he has to say. So Evangelos will be first from the University of Amsterdam, sitting here next to us. Vincenzo Lomonaco will be online remotely, talking about his experience from Italy, AI Italy. And then we'll have also a panel discussion where we're going to discuss about the impact of AI and education in society. Thank you very much, and I welcome Evangelos to the podium.
mystery. It's, how PowerPoint works. From beginning, let's do it like that. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for the invitation to be here. And I guess as people come in, I hope to have a very interesting day. What I want to talk about in the next 5-10 minutes is this concept of AI literacy, which I think is not a new concept. You hear it in the educational community more and more, similar to the mathematics literacy of the past. But the big question here is, how do we actually
Because it's sharing Adobe Acrobat.
Okay, let's stop. Right.
Share the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. So just to jump directly into the question, and before I start discussing it, a few words about who am I, and that's not so much the biography itself, but more or less to say that I have an active role in education at the University of Amsterdam. I'm the director of the master program in AI, but I also look at AI, how it shapes society as a whole in the Netherlands, and the industrial aspect of it, the needs of industry from our students that come out of the master program and the bachelor program. And from this capacity, I will talk today, right? I'm not a researcher in the education itself, but I'm an educator altogether. So I think it is needless to say that we have a rise in artificial intelligence and in principle in the need to train people in AI. At the University of Amsterdam, the Informatics Institute has 3 bachelor programs. There is an AI program, there is a data science program, information studies program, that serves about 1,100 students per year. We have 7 master programs, one of which is an AI program with 1,300 students. And what we see is that students beyond the AI program, they have an appetite, they have a need to study artificial intelligence. So the courses in the master program are becoming more and more popular. We are in the position that we need to block students from getting the courses, from sitting in the class. All our courses have a cap, and while there is a huge demand to take AI courses, we cannot offer them. We do not have the resources to offer them. On the top of this, every year we get about 1,000 applications of people to study, that they wish to study AI. But we are forced to cap that into 200. So we get only 200 out of 1,000 students that they wish to study AI from the Netherlands, from Europe, from the world. Now, this shows in the numbers that, in principle, people think that they need to stay relevant by studying AI. And the notion of AI literacy is the notion of the ability to understand, use, monitor, and critically reflect on AI applications, which is very important to think about for a moment. Because most of what happens today in our education is that people consider AI component as another checkbox in their curriculum. So you are sitting in a social science department, you want your social science students to have AI, so in principle, you try to plug in a couple of courses, or you ask your students to take courses from the computer science department, and that's another checkbox. Now, this is not how this should happen, and we see this from if we look at studies where people are asked to determine if they use AI in their everyday life. Most of the people think that they don't use AI in their everyday life. While AI is everywhere, right? From Netflix to whatever you do in Google search. Now, in principle, the importance of AI is there, and there is a call for a wide range of AI education. So AI education that goes beyond the computer science department. The question is, how do we manage to diffuse AI across the entire campus, right? We need to have AI, and I think this is obvious both from the numbers, but from our understanding of the need for AI, that the AI curriculum has to be diffused across the entire campus in a way that is not simply an add-on requirement, a checkbox in a different department that, okay, I've done machine learning and that's it. There are a bunch of challenges to do that, to diffuse AI across the campus. Of course, there is a typical challenge that is the diverse background of the students and the goals of the different departments. There is what I just discussed, the curriculum integration, right? So how do you take a curriculum from the business school and you diffuse AI in it, right? What does it mean? Is it just enough to plug in a machine learning course? How exactly do you do that? And of course, the most important is the resource limitations. And the resource limitations is human resources, but also compute resources. Now, from what I have seen, there is, in principle, one model of diffusing AI right now that is happening in the world. This is also what is happening at the University of Amsterdam. But today I will advocate for a second one that I think is more appropriate. So the first model, which is also at the University of Amsterdam, is an attempt to scale AI, and it is done in the following way. AI primarily happens at the Informatics Institute. The Informatics Institute has done a huge number of, well, huge for the size of the institute, a big number of hires of 30 new professors in the last 4 years, right? And so most of the AI is happening in this Informatics Institute. It's a computer science department, so to speak. At the same time, different faculties and different departments across the campus are hiring AI specialists, graduates of the informatic institutes around the world, as seeds in their own department where they hope that AI will spring. So, and then education-wise, what happens is they all build these minor programs in their own faculty, taught by these AI people that they hire, trying to bring AI into their education. At the University of Amsterdam, this is happening in a bit of an ad hoc and decentralized way, so there is no strategy, so to speak. The different departments and faculties build their own strategy. There is, of course, a broader strategy, but in principle, when it comes down to actions, the different departments take their actions in their best interests. And we see this also around the world, this kind of model. Northwestern is an example, but also the University of Florida, and these guys, they have reported in a paper how exactly they did it. So they did something very similar. They did a lot of hires, and they did a lot of hires as seeds in the different faculty and the different departments. Of course, in both cases, the University of Amsterdam or the University of Florida, there is also a big investment on compute infrastructure. We have a national infrastructure of GPUs and supercomputers that now is shared across all the education and all the research across all the universities. The same was the case for the University of Florida, and that's what they report. This is mandatory. And of course, when it comes to curriculum, interestingly enough, we didn't do it, but the University of Florida has a central strategy, and they looked at how K-12 curricula are being built, which is a little bit, you would think it's not staying behind, but in the US, it's actually progressing faster than the literacy at the university level. The literacy at the K-12 level is going faster. And so people were inspired from K-12 curricula to build their own curriculum at the University of Florida. And here there are a bunch of stuff that they cover, but that's not important for now. So now this is model one of scaling education. And to me, there are a bunch of challenges and a bunch of barriers here. So first of all, it looks like that the Informatics Institute and the Computer Science departments are turning into service providers for everyone else. So to some extent, there is a question of whether we are the new math department, right? That we will teach everyone math, or we will teach everyone AI, and that will be our role in the next sort of decades to come. We will be a service provider. The other big challenge, which is something that obviously we don't want, right? The other challenge is how do we balance between offering education within our own institute and to the institutes across. For now, we prioritize education within, and we don't provide big services beyond our institute because simply of the lack of resources. At the same time, the other faculty that they hire people that are AI people, they actually have very hard time finding talent and keeping the talent within their institutes, right? Because these people, you know, you will be hired in the social sciences, you are isolated there, you try to bring AI in a new department, there is no one to collaborate with on AI basis. It's extremely difficult to stay around and to be motivated to do AI in such an isolated department. So this is my model two that I want to advocate for, and I believe, similarly to the Faculty of Science, similarly to the Faculty of Humanities, we actually do need a Faculty of AI. Not just a department, not just take AI outside of computer science or AI outside of electrical engineering. We need to have a pillar along with the other pillars that the center is AI. Within this interdisciplinary faculty, right, we bring people that they have an interest to build AI, but by diverse backgrounds, diverse application domains, diverse viewpoints, diverse questions on AI. People that want to understand and develop AI at its core, right? Not just users of AI, that is in principle what happens nowadays. And so within this faculty, the goal will be to educate one generation of truly interdisciplinary scientists between AI and something else. If we manage to do this, at least that's my opinion, if we manage to grow a generation of people that sit really in between disciplines, right, then AI will be able to actually flourish across the entire campus. If we do it the way it is done nowadays, my sense is that the AI department will continue simply doing AI. The AI across will die off eventually, and the dissemination of AI will be blocked, and we will have a hard time doing it. And with this, I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.
At this point, we're going to have a short interrupt of this session because the rector, Professor Efstratios from Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, has just joined, and he's going to address the symposium. I would like to thank him very, very much for taking time to provide this address.
Dear distinguished guests and attendees, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I apologize that I could be near you at the conference. As a rector of the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, I gladly received the invitation to address the symposium from the Chair of Management of Board of AIDA, our professor at the School of Informatics, Dr. Ioannis Pitas. We are honored that this symposium is hosted in our city, Thessaloniki, and the always hospitable Center for Research and Technology, alas. The admirable panel of experts in the field of AI that gathered in our city, on-site and remotely, create the perfect conditions for some very stimulating discussions ahead. The foundation of the International Artificial Intelligence Doctoral Academy, of which the Aristotle University was one of its founding members, is a groundbreaking collaborative effort aiming to combine the forces of 5 EC-funded projects that cover a significant portion of the AI research spectrum. As we approach some new frontiers, the necessity for a common resource that would act as a trustworthy entry point to AI research and education, a virtual laboratory of sorts of stakeholders, was imperative. Nowadays, the participation of almost 60 universities from all around Europe and 90 research and industry stakeholders is a testament to the success the initiative has had over the years. Within the framework of higher education, artificial intelligence can act as a catalyst in enhancing critical thinking, creativity, and innovation in fields such as mathematics, programming, and biomedical research, as well as in legal studies and the humanities. It is undeniable that the technological advancement in the field of AI and its rapid dissemination to the public have captivated institutions on a global scale. At our university, we have already incorporated a series of courses related to AI in our undergraduate programs, both at the School of Electrical and Computer Engineering, as well as at the School of Informatics. Moreover, the latter hosts 2 postgraduate programs entitled Artificial Intelligence and Digital Media Computational Intelligence. The fact that both of these programs have operated since 2018, well before AI became a trend, is proof of the hard work that our personnel are investing in and the opportunities that are offered to our students and prospective researchers. In today's rapidly evolving technological landscape, the demand for skilled professionals in artificial intelligence is very high. A new generation of experts capable of handling the complexity of AI innovation is needed. In this context, artificial intelligence education at the doctoral level is crucial to shaping the next generation of AI professionals in various fields. AIDA covered this need of enhancing doctoral training in AI by providing PhD students with access to leading academic researchers, advanced European-based courses, and collaborative networks with some connection with industry partnerships. Through initiatives such as AIDA, we can also examine how the positive integration of AI can transcend the boundaries of traditional education and create new opportunities by enhancing the learning capacity of both professors and students. As a result, other uses of AI in education must be explored. Apart from generating text, the impact of using AI tools on education, examination, and quality assurance should be assessed. All these issues will be the subject of discussion in the panels that follow. In closing, I would like to thank all those who contributed to the organization of this scientific event, the Center for Research and Technology, Hellas, for the hybrid hosting, and of course, Professor Ioannis Pittas, who always remains at the forefront of developments to the benefit of the Aristotle University. It is a privilege to have you all here today in Thessaloniki, and I wish you every success in your sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rector. And now we move again to continue the previous session. Thank you very much for your participation.
So next, we're going to have Vincenzo, who will be discussing and presenting his experiences on AI and education in Italy.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so let me share my screen. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
That's fantastic. All right, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm glad to bring the experience we had in Italy, and especially at the University of Pisa, related to shaping the way we are educating people and students mostly to bring this new wave of AI technologies and cutting edge applications to the real world. So my talk will be very short and will be the skills that we imagine those students would need for the future of AI. And what we are doing in Italy in terms of education and exploitation, very briefly, in terms of milestones, and possibly exploring some issues and discussion points we can later discuss in the panel. So my name is Vincenzo Lomonaco, and at the moment I am a researcher at the University of Pisa, but I'm also the teacher of the master degree course on artificial AI, AI fundamentals, as well as very involved in non-profit and for-profit activities, the latest being a spin-off activity that is called Continualist, and it's trying to bring AI technologies within the new space market. So if you want to learn more about my activities in terms of teaching and dissemination and tech transfer, feel free to reach out to me and visit my official website, vincenzolomonaco.com. But let's get directly here to the main talk. So I would like to start with clarifying what we think are the fundamental hard skills that anyone in AI should possess. And in doing so, I used here the index from the 20 years old now, Artificial Intelligence, A Modern Approach book by Russell and Norvig, that I think many teachers around the world are using as the reference book for their AI courses. And as you can see, it contains a lot of different topics that are often also scattered across several courses inside the master degree course. And one point to note, and I think it's also a discussion point, is that it's very, very difficult to have all these hard skills developed within a bachelor degree course. And many universities, especially in Italy, are trying to define, say, AI curriculums within their master degree courses, or directly creating new master programs specifically around the topics of AI. So this is the main approach to education we have in Italy, and it is reasonable since we need, as AI scientists, the computer science background that should be, let's say, very robust, we believe, in order to achieve, let's say, good performance in the development of those hard skills related to AI. Even though we will discuss later, depending on the market where we think those students will work, it may not be necessary. So as you can see, the main aspects we should cover when we teach AI are related to search algorithms, problem solving, knowledge definition, reasoning, and planning, mostly based on logic, and certain knowledge management, mostly based on probabilistic methods. Then all we have seen growing in terms of interest for learning methods, so machine learning, deep learning, reinforcement learning, and so on and so forth. And then all the, let's say, more domain-specific knowledge, for example, related to natural language processing, computer vision, robotics, and so on and so forth. Then, apart from these hard skills, as we mentioned also in the previous talk, it is important to understand that AI cannot be taught in a vacuum, just with those hard skills development, but it needs to well, already be shaped within this idea of trustworthy AI. We know very well in Europe, especially, given the regulation and guidelines that we had on this topic, and especially considering that when we work to develop real-world applications, it is important to comply with the growing regulations on the topic, rightfully so, and also understand that anything we do would be focused and developed within a diverse interdisciplinary team. Even in research nowadays. And here on the slide, you can see listed a set of principles that should be addressed when developing trustworthy AI systems, from privacy and data governance to transparency, non-discrimination and fairness, social accountability and well-being, and so on and so forth. So you see that there are a lot of topics related to the ethics of AI that cannot be possibly taught completely and to a single person, so it is a must, let's say, to develop this interdisciplinary, let's say, understanding and ability to work with different people with different backgrounds. So what we need to do in terms of curriculums and what we do in terms of education is to develop, I believe, educational processes that take into account those dimensions, and we are doing it only partially at the moment. This is even more important than what we already knew we need to do for classic, let's say, computer science domains and applications. So in Italy, we had a very slow, let's say, start in terms of understanding that AI was a very big thing, and then transforming our often computer science master degree courses to accommodate this new need. So as an example, I graduated as a PhD in 2019, and I couldn't, during my studies, follow a real, let's say, machine learning course. So in my University of Bologna. Then very quickly, all the university in Italy started to integrate slowly with the, I guess, Model 1 approach described by the previous speaker, new courses that would fit that checkbox and add a bit of knowledge to the classic, let's say, curriculum that were already present there. But as you can see then, I think after 2000, a lot of different universities try to create entire new master courses, and I think it is worth mentioning, especially the last two set of activities. So apart from those master degrees and the curriculums within computer science departments, we started as Italians in 2021 a national PhD in artificial intelligence that is coordinated by the University of Pisa and CNR. And this is a very interesting effort in trying to bring, let's say, these interdisciplinary aspects and cross-university, say, collaboration at this very high level, well, the latest and greatest level of education in Italy, the PhD level. Then the other aspect I wanted to mention is these specialization programs that we have in Italy that can be like after the bachelor degree or the master degree level, and are often one-year program tailored to teach AI also to other backgrounds, not necessarily, let's say, computer science. Very challenging aspect, but still in the sense, in the direction of trying to teach more and more people, the fundamentals, at least, of AI, so that they can understand how they will transform society as a whole. So this is an example of an AI curriculum, the one that we have at the University of Pisa. As you can see, what we do is to try to have a mix of those hard and soft skills development within this 2-year course, and with a very modular approach. So what we do is to have a set of fundamental courses. You can see in the first year we have 6 fundamental courses, and they are a must. And then students can decide what to focus on, how to specialize their curriculum in order to, have a specialization at the end, or just focus on their own interests. And the same goes for the second year, where we have just a single mandatory course with a dissertation effort, as well as 2 additional courses you can see listed on the right hand of this slide. So you can select, a specific course like robotics, or even more advanced, let's say, course like continual learning is the first course on continual machine learning has been offered worldwide as a master degree course. In terms of tech transfer, so with this idea that we want a more holistic approach to AI education, Italy did a very good job, in a sense, maybe a bit late, but in evaluating academy and academics with indicators that are related to the impact their research have also in terms of innovation. So since 2004, universities were evaluated also in terms of economic valorization of their activities, so patents, spin-offs, and other efforts. And a fundamental new law was passed in Italy, where essentially academics were finally allowed to have spin-off activities while maintaining their jobs at academia. So this was a game changer, since we had a very large wave of spin-offs that we never had before, right? Because in the past, a professor had to quit their job or stop it in order to do entrepreneurial activity. So those two things together allowed us to start this idea of transferring faster what we teach and study at universities in the Italian market mostly. And I wanted to conclude this short intervention with a couple of issues and discussion points. So, as you may know, Italy and Greece, since you are there, spends only 7.2% of their GDP on education. And so this is quite low with respect to other European countries and worldwide. And this suggests that we could have a bit more, resources in order to maybe not improve the quality, since it is very high with respect to what students pay at the moment, but to better tailor those courses to better suit the specific context in which we believe those students will later work. Then another important mention is that Italy invests only 1.4% of its GDP in research and development, and this is also much lower than the EU average, as you can see in the right side of this slide. Another important number here is the amount of brain drain that Italy has every year. So as you can see at the bottom right of this slide, essentially we have a lot of immigration from Italy, especially from people that have a medium-high education degree. So especially people that are studying, for example, the master degree level and even AI. So we have an outflow, a net, let's say, immigration that for Italians, so people that have an Italian citizenship, is about 60,000 every year, and this is growing like 1 or 2% every year. Another important note is that the Italian AI market, or let's say companies that need AI, is quite small, and it is estimated to be about 3.5 billion. So what I wanted to suggest here is that on one hand, we are already, let's say, producing high-quality educational processes related to AI, but the problem is that we are not exploiting those results properly. The market in Italy is quite small, related to advanced deep tech technologies, and essentially we are educating people for the world rather than for Italy. So this is fine, of course. We are contributing a little to the need of AI educated people, even at greatest levels, but we are not exploiting it properly. And if we want to improve the economic marketplace, ecosystem in Italy and in the southern regions of Europe, then we should maybe spend a bit more on education in order to close this gap and understand what are the real needs and fit better our programs to also satisfy these needs. That's it. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be around to answer your questions or discuss in the panel.
Thank you very much. Yes, Vincenzo, please stay online. So I would like now to invite Mark and Yanis for a short question answering round. So we saw a common theme actually in the presentations so far, and it's like also something that I agree with, that AI, like it's time for AI to have its own place. It's just too big, simply too big to ignore it. So I will not ask that. I had that as one of my questions. My first question, and I also invite the audience to offer opinions because we've got definitely a lot of very knowledgeable experts here. So the obvious question is, what is the role of universities as basically the, let's say, primary senior education like institutions nowadays in the presence of very successful online platforms like Coursera, Khan Academy, and so forth, especially if you add to the mix AI. Why would a student pay like £5 or £10 or £15,000 in UK, $80,000 in US, or even like 10 or 20,000 euros in Europe, like just like to afford cost of living and whatnot? Why not just go online? At the end of the day, the knowledge is there, it's free, it's accessible. Why bother? Can the university offer something more? What do you think?
We're both looking at the director.
Yeah, I represent another group as most of you. I'm the dean of the business school, so I am one of the areas that Evangelos describes. Kind of, we need to have the knowledge, and we need to combine knowledge from AI with knowledge from business and economics, and that requires a lot of group work also, and interaction between people to build good solutions. And many of our students say, yeah, we could have done also online, but we prefer, learning is also a social experience, and we need to work with people from different disciplines. And if you would like to combine knowledge, then to do that physically is still a very good way. But I also want to say something else. I'm still a little bit puzzled with the model that Evangelos proposed about having a special faculty of AI. I can see his point that you want to have a big group at one point, but it is still very difficult to get people from informatics to teach in, for instance, business schools. They don't like it. They sometimes also lack the knowledge of the functional areas. So I see that as a big issue. And also, but that's more a question to Evangelos, how could this model add to solving that problem? So maybe you want first to reflect to the original question, but I have also a question to Evangelos about how his model how the functional areas where AI is applied could benefit from this model, and what the solutions could be, how they could benefit from it.
I'm not
deeply involved in directly, let's say, in education in AI. Just wanted to mention that I think a question from Stratis is very valid because in very, let's say, educational and coaching videos that I see, there are a lot of people who suggest young people to take these online courses and learn from such kind of sources. Personally, I believe they are useful, but obviously education from a university is much more complete. But I think it is indeed, let's say, a valid, let's say, concern, since it is quite obviously quite popular out there.
Yeah, I think no, I don't have anything more to add. Also, Vincenzo touched upon it, right? So there are the social skills that Vincenzo talked about, working in a social environment. I would say also, you know, you can also go online and learn how to build a boat from YouTube. That's also fine, right? But I think there is the need to be confronted, as Mark said, with real situations where teamwork happens, and also, as Vincenzo said, unlike computer science, that you can learn programming online. Let's say AI is more than that, and requires a broader perspective on social aspects and working together, 21st century skills, so on and so forth. Can I answer Mark's question as well? Yeah. So yeah. So this faculty of AI, right? So, I mean, people that we do AI, we should also admit that we're not perfect in teaching AI. I think it is the opposite, right? Because we're a generation that didn't come we came out of computer science or electrical engineering. We obviously also lack the skills. To a big extent, this creates an introvertism that we have to fight. And in a sense, we need to open up the world of AI to other scientists that themselves will not achieve it either. But the generation to come, the generation of students that we will teach, so the next generation, ideally will be in the middle, and they could teach properly AI to business school. They could do research within AI, for AI, and for their disciplines. So I'm not hopeful on this generation of people that we came out from business, from computer science, but somehow we need to bridge all this in a chaotic, probably, department, but where everyone sits together and talks in an everyday manner of how to really create a new generation of scholars that are truly interdisciplinary in all their ways, right? From communication to solving problems to doing research. That's at least the big idea. Now the implementation of it, yeah, it's a bigger question.
Thank you very much. For what it's worth, I think that's how also the Faculty of Engineering evolved, right? Like addressing fundamental questions that were specific on application areas. But maybe another question, and the worry overall, I think, is that an obvious risk with AI is mistrust, misinformation, like propagation of malicious even knowledge. A risk when integrating AI in our education pipelines is that the tiny, gradual, and possibly malicious like tidbits of knowledge that will be inserted will corrupt basically future generations. Like, once you start learning something wrong, it's very hard to unlearn it quite often. I mean, that's actually how most biases are established. This is clearly extremely hard question, especially in the era of deep fakes. So how can we protect ourselves? Is there a way to protect ourselves? Should we just ban AI and just make sure that future generations do not simply get the wrong message? What is your opinion? I think Ioannis has quite an experience here, so
Yes, it is indeed an important problem with significant societal aspects. And yes, okay, banning AI seems like a first solution, but I don't think it's possible anymore. And we have been working in technical solutions to detect. Sorry. And we have been working in technical solutions to detect and fight that stuff, but it is very difficult. And since we are discussing, of course, about education here, we have found that educating society about such technologies is a key element in fighting disinformation in education and in many other aspects. And I think there are two important elements there. One is to explain how things work and how easy and let's say effective can be to generate such misleading content. But also it is very important to also demonstrate the impact that such actions have, because in many cases the first, let's say, response is that it is looks like something funny, looks like something interesting, exciting, but there are significant impact behind it, like impact to democracy when elections are manipulated, impact to health when false information are around, impact to education. There are very sophisticated videos in YouTube targeting children where correct information is false information hidden behind correct information, and also in wars and things like that nowadays. So education, to be short, in addressing this challenge is very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll share. So yesterday we missed the dinner, but we were sitting next to you, and we were discussing a bit of
parallel universe.
In a parallel universe, a different topic that touches upon this. So with Mark, Mark has a department where there are 1,000 and a half bachelor students. So every exam has 1,000 and a half students that they answer questions, and they have to hire hundreds or tens of teaching assistants to grade these questions. The grading is always different between assistants, and everyone is unhappy without any feedback. So then we thought, naturally, and we do it a little bit as an experiment already, that AI could actually, if you give the ground truth, the golden answer, could very easily grade an exam, not very easily, but it's doable, right? And give proper feedback, right, instantaneously. So we thought, what would happen if we ask the students to choose whether they would like to be graded by AI or teaching assistants? I don't know, what would you choose? Maybe some hands who would choose AI?
Actually, that's a great question. So if you are a student again, and you could what would you prefer, teaching assistant or AI?
And maybe you should also explain a bit more in detail.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the difference is with the student assistants, they only write the number of points that you get in a certain answer. The AI writes a complete explanation of why the points are given.
Also, the assistants don't really care quite often.
And usually the exams are not given back to the student. No feedback is given about the exams. So if you choose for the AI, you get nice feedbacks with a good explanation of why your answer scored a certain number of points. And in the other situation, you only get the number of points. And maybe I don't know what you would answer to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who would choose the AI.
So who would choose the AI here?
Yeah, well,
yes?
I would choose AI, but I cannot strangle,
So only 4 people. Only 4
people. But that was our. That was our thought, right? That at first 4 people, but then in the next round, most likely another 4, because teaching assistants are so inconsistent. And now we come to the point of bias, right? Like, what if there is a systematic bias and you give a standard systematic wrong feedback where the student learns completely wrong, right? somehow we need to find some way to protect from that, right? So somehow we need to find. But to me, it seems that it is a natural way forward. And if we find the means to examine the lack of systematic bias, so there is no systematic bias there, it could be really an extra tool in education. And this is one example.
But I also agree with you.
I think we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So sorry for being abrupt here, but I think excellent points. I really love the answers. I could easily fill at least 2 more hours. I had quite a few questions, but if you're around, like, I'm more than happy to chat more about it. Let's thank our panelists. And move on. Thank you.
Thank you.